Hi, friends. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Hello APGD, a neighborhood podcast about the Audubon Park Garden District in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Michael Lothrop, and today we'll be speaking with Jennie Lee and Trung Tran of Goodfills, a mobile refill provider featuring zero-waste, eco-friendly cleaning, laundry, and bath products. You can find out where their van will be next on goodfills.co or on Instagram and Facebook at goodfillsco. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, or if you'd like to be a sponsor, please feel free to message me on Instagram at helloapgdpod. Thank you for listening. This episode is brought to you in part by Trevor Brown, Audubon Park resident and trusted Central Florida realtor with Fannie Hillman and Associates, proudly serving their clients for over 40 years. For listings, market trends, helpful homebuyer and seller tips, email directly to Trevor at fanniehillman.com or find him on Instagram at Trevor Brown Realtor. And with me today is Jennie and Trung of Goodfills, a zero-waste, eco and family-friendly cleaning, laundry, and bath products company. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you for
having
having
us.
us.
Thank you for being here. I noticed you're missing a third part of your team. The Chief Morale and Motivation Officer is not here tonight.
Yes, she's at home sleeping.
We figured she'd be a little hyperactive and maybe
All you would hear would be like,
her and Misty. Right?
oh yeah,
So of course we're referring to Princess. And what kind of dog is she again?
she's a Pomeranian.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny because whenever we're out, like Misty's with us so much, and anytime I don't bring her out, I kind of see people get like a little disappointed, you know? They might be happy to see me, but also they're like, no Misty? You know? So it's good to have that little sidekick, that little mascot that boosts everybody's spirits, isn't it?
Yeah, our fur babies are definitely the stars of the show.
Yeah, we're the luckiest to have them, and
Yeah.
Princess always looks like she's having the best time too. You guys have this mobile truck for your company, and it's gorgeous. I mean, it's like nothing I've ever seen before, and so you do refills there and retail out of the truck itself, or is it a van really?
Yeah, it's a van, I guess. A 2017 Ford Transit. We bought it used right here in Orlando. We were looking all over the country for one because it was, the pandemic lockdowns had started, and all these trucks were getting snatched up by all these companies that had to pivot to e-commerce and delivery. Mm-hmm. And we were lucky to find one right here in our backyard.
Wow, that is lucky, and it's in great shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually a salvage vehicle, and then it did some renovation with it. Trung did it himself.
Yeah.
I
Well,
pitched some ideas.
that's not true.
Yeah.
The chief morale officer was there with me.
She was. There was some picture proof. Yeah.
So it was really fun working on the van. It took 9 months building it in Jennie's driveway. But the funny thing is, like, Princess is a scaredy cat for everything. But she is not afraid of me using power tools.
Wow.
She wanted to be in that van out in the driveway.
That's
Watch
incredible.
me.
Yeah, she's scared of boxes, bags. She's scared of
Night lights.
night lights. She's scared of it when I put a cup on the table. She like runs away. But for some odd reason, power tools,
Wow.
don't scare her at all.
She just feels right at home when she hears
that.
Well, and she knew that it was kind of building her, her home away from home too, right?
Yep. Yeah.
I love it. That's so great. And so you have been doing this, as you said, you started this during the pandemic. So 2020 was your first year of business for this?
So we officially started the business in 2020. Yeah. And then 2021, we bought the van in February. And then 2022, we opened for business.
So that was quite a while in the works. What gave you the idea to start this business?
Well, there's like multiple layers to any idea. So I don't know about you, but every time I buy a product in the store, I'm always thinking, like, feeling guilty throwing away that really nice bottle or that really nice container. And I remember in college thinking, like, it's really a shame to just throw these away. Why can't we just reuse them or refill them? Because there's only so much you can do with an empty bottle, right? Without refilling with what its purpose is for, which is your shampoo or your conditioner or whatnot. And then, so it's always been an idea in the back of my mind. And I remember telling Trung about it when we were dating as well. And we always wanted to start a business where we can make a good impact, help the environment in some way. And then we actually saw a refill shop in St. Pete, and we're like, oh, this is actually something that's feasible, because we weren't sure about the logistics of it and if it was a viable option for people to want to come out and refill stuff. But we looked into it more, and there were a lot of zero waste refill shops available around the States. So we're like, why don't we start one here?
Yeah, I do. I think about it all the time. I mean, there's really not a day where I'm not feeling guilty about using single-use plastics. And I mean, they're everywhere in our lives. It's like any time that we can reduce that, I think is worth doing for sure,
Yeah,
Right.
every little bit.
Yeah. And I'm grateful that this is something that you offer, and your products also. I mean, we're hooked on your hand soap. And it's like such a game changer for that. We're very avid hand washers, and I think that we all should be at this point, right? And it doesn't, your hands feel extra clean and they don't feel dried out, and your soaps just smell so good. So like we're lifers, like we're hooked.
Actually, the one you're talking about is the brand that manufactures it is the Home Farm, and that she's a local manufacturer right down the street in East Orlando.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so we partner with family businesses, family-run sustainable companies, and they just, we handpick which ones we would think would work best with our environment and within Orlando, and then we go from there. And
yeah, there's a lot of factors to juggle. We try to bring the best price, obviously,
Right.
but we also want it to be closed loop whenever possible. So they send us their big intermediate size containers, we dispense it, and then we send those containers right back. So we don't introduce any new single-use plastic into the cycle.
Yeah.
And then, of course, local wherever possible.
That's perfect. And so how many products do you create from scratch yourself?
a part of producing your own products is cosmetic manufacturing license. And so we were working towards that.
Yeah.
So we just got our warehouse and we're in the middle of renovating it so that we can have like a manufacturing room where we can make our own products.
Yeah, and that availability is so key. I was talking to somebody who lives in South Florida, and she had never heard of like a mobile refilling. It's really perfect because you have pop-ups in different areas of town, so people can just go to your website, find out where you'll be next, and understand you have a spot in College Park that does refilling there as well.
It's a refill station inside of a store called Indu Apothecary. Gabriel runs that store, and he has all kinds of body products, home goods, plants, some clothing also, candles. He's always been trying to bring in more sustainable products into his store, so he reached out to us to open a refill station there.
Yeah,
Wow.
he actually saw us on Earth Day and he got really excited, and he said he'd been wanting a refill bar in his shop for the longest time, and so he got really excited when he saw us and reached out to have one in his shop.
Yeah, it's that like kind of putting yourself out there and finding, your audience and getting in front of kind of new customers and that sort of thing. And you are a regular at the Monday night market at Stardust, which we're so grateful for. It's like you're the perfect anchor. And I just had Ceylon Hut on as guests, and so you are right there across from Gavin.
Yeah, Gavin's food is so good.
Yeah.
And every time we're at the market, I just stare and I have to get some Sri Lankan curry.
How can you
it's
not?
so good.
Yeah, like he's like doing the final prep, like the cooking there on the truck, so you get
Right.
all of the
The smells definitely come our way.
So you're probably his number one customer because like you're just there automatically. So how can you resist, really? Yeah, and so what other pop-ups are you doing on a regular basis?
On a regular basis, we have Friday mornings at the Windermere Farmers Market, um, every other Saturday at the Packing District Farmers Market, every month at the Conway Community Market.
We also have once a month at the Way Out West Market.
Right. That's the Curry Ford West.
Okay. There's so many of these markets that I just haven't even heard of. I just haven't branched out and gone to some other markets. So in 2022, I was reading online, you did 170 markets for the year. It's quite, that's a lot of markets.
Well, we both still have full-time jobs too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about that. So what is your day job?
So I'm a nuclear pharmacist. I basically compound radiopharmaceuticals for imaging, mostly SPECT imaging, some PET imaging.
Okay.
So it's a around-the-clock job. Our pharmacy is open 24/7. So sometimes you won't see me. Sometimes you will see me at the markets.
Wow.
But we just try to work with. I just try to work with my schedule to be able to show up at the markets. But oftentimes I have to rely on Trung being there because he has a more regular job than I do.
And I'm an engineer. Some of the skills to build that van came in handy, and the rest came from YouTube.
YouTube's the best, isn't it?
It is.
We can learn anything on YouTube. I feel like there's always stuff on there to help get you smarter at whatever you're trying to do.
Right.
And it lets you be like a little more adventurous at like what you're willing to try.
Even when you mess up, there's a YouTube video for how to get out of that.
That's good to know. I hadn't really thought about that.
Good safety net.
Yeah, truly. Yeah. Were there any mess ups when you were doing the van that you're like, all right, I need to get like back out of this?
Yeah, I think I've blocked most of them from my memory. I think a few were fixed just by shimming some things or re-drilling a hole.
Yeah.
Filling in the hole first, then re-drilling. So not too bad.
Well, you would never know. I mean, to look at it, it's a work of art, really.
Yes, like a lot of people come by and they're like, "Are you guys a franchise?"
Mm-hmm.
And Trung's being an engineer, he's very like particular with being everything being perfect. So we often joke like maybe we should stop being so perfect, so make it not look like a franchise, so people stop asking us.
It's funny because Lobos Coffee. I had them on as guests and they said the exact same thing. Like people go in there and they're like, where's your other locations? Or, this is obviously a big, franchise, right? And they're like, no, it's just the one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a corporate vision, it seems.
Well, it should be something that should be available in more places too, right? Exactly. I mean, I think you are setting a certain type of standard for, a successful business doing this. And I understand you basically saved around 1,800 containers last year as well. So you have no single-use plastics. The only plastic involved is really like the pumps for the soaps.
Right.
Everything else is glass. Mm-hmm. And I think that anytime we can minimize that, just putting stuff in landfills, it's so exciting to see a business come along that way and for people to gravitate towards it. What are some of the more popular items that sell off the truck?
Honestly, it really depends on the week. Everybody's buying pink grapefruit hand soap, lavender hand soap, and then the peppermint one that you have. Some weeks it's laundry detergent. Our unscented
dish soap.
Yeah, sure. Our unscented laundry detergent is actually pretty popular. I guess people are realizing you don't necessarily need the scent in the laundry part, which is, if your detergent's doing a good job, it should be stripping away anything that causes any scent.
Yeah.
If you want scent, then maybe put some essential oil on a wool dryer ball and put that in the dryer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then, like Jenny said, during the holidays, dish soap was all the rage because obviously people have family in town and
everybody's hosting and doing lots of dishes.
Yeah.
Relatable.
Yeah.
And there's the hypoallergenic needs, and you find that certain things that you'll have a reaction to, and a lot of those dyes and perfumes and store-bought things end up doing that, with people, so they have to find something that is made naturally and uses essential oils and just like all natural ingredients, and that's what you offer as well.
Yeah, and then on top of that, we even have unscented versions. So it's just totally unscented, just in case. Right?
Yeah.
Everybody's needs are different, so
It's hard to come by those things, I think, sometimes in stores, because they want a lemon scent or whatever scent, everything, and there's a time and a place for that, but it's not all the time.
Right.
So, and another thing that, in addition to thinking about single-use plastics and things that are going into landfills, like you hear a lot about what actually gets recycled. We have our little note on top of our recycling bin here that tells us which plastics can and which can't. But there's that like aspirational thing where you're hoping that it actually gets recycled,
Right.
but you hear a lot of news about maybe not.
It's
Wish
all
cycling,
wish
they call it.
cycling.
Yeah.
Wish cycling. You wish that it would get recycled. I see this with my family a lot. And I would tell my mom, no, clamshells don't actually get recycled, Mom, but she throws them in anyway. She's like, well, they can sort it out.
Well, it depends on the municipality, but
Yeah.
here in Orlando, I think we've been told no clamshells.
Yeah.
And then oftentimes, our recycling plants aren't capable of recycling PET 5 or the little triangle number with 5 in it, or 4. Oftentimes it's only just 1 or 2 that's actually getting recycled. So 70% of plastics actually end up in the landfill. And then of that, 8.7% of plastics generated that year actually do get recycled.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's just it's the statistics aren't great. So wish cycling isn't a thing.
Yeah.
You wish you wanted to, but you know, it's hard. So the best way is just to reduce the use of plastic or to reuse what you have. And that's the best way to help the environment.
Yeah, and we're fighting a very uphill battle because of all of the manufacturing and things like that. So it's like any little bit that we can do, I think is super important, you know? It's like, it feels good to just to know that you're not contributing to those problems, and hopefully the demand will change, that people aren't getting as many single-use plastics. I mean, something's got to change, right?
And that's why we've been working with, not just presenting the option to consumers and putting that choice on consumers, but, we reached out to a company up in North Carolina, Charlie's Soap, and we're their first refill customer. We managed to convince them. We had a meeting with their president and vice president and managed to convince them, hey, give this a shot. This is the future.
Yeah.
There are dozens of countries in Europe that are charging manufacturers for the waste that they produce. And that legislation is starting to make its way over to the United States also. So you guys need to get ahead of the game. And then we've also, Florida is one of 5 states that makes us get a cosmetic manufacturing license just to refill things that are considered cosmetics, like lotions and
Sunscreen.
Conditioners. And we've been working with some local representatives to try to change that. There's 45 other states that have a perfectly fine example of how to do this safely.
Yeah.
Let's follow them.
That's wild. So what does that entail, getting that license?
So for us right now, I think it's impossible because I believe one of the rules is you have to have 4 walls.
Okay.
But yeah, there's an inspection with a checklist. So most of it we can pass, but some of it just being mobile doesn't really lend itself to fulfilling those needs.
It's kind of a no-brainer when the majority of a country is doing it a different way.
Right.
We're a little behind the times on certain things, I feel like. I mean, especially when it comes to environmental legislation and things like that, it's like you always unfortunately have to appeal to the money side of things, right? It's like people aren't usually just in it to save our environment, unfortunately. There has to be sort of like a dollar angle that to leverage those decisions, right?
Yeah, we've been talking to other refill shops around the country, and they have a pretty good system in Hawaii, and I guess they understand that part of their environment is their main source of income, right? Tourist dollars.
Right.
So they've put a pretty high priority on zero waste efforts, such as refill stores and
And
the takeout container
right, they
reuse.
government sponsored a takeout reusable container system where restaurants can just package their takeout containers, and then the customers can just bring those back, and they get washed through a cleaning facility, and then they get given back to the restaurants, and then they just that process continues. And then that pilot program had been doing pretty well. As a matter of fact, Oregon also has a program like that where they have a takeout reusable system where they and it works really well. So it's just like all the nature centric states are more focused for promoting environmentalism. And also, like, the bigger cities are more open to it as well because they have so much land, like trash in their landfills.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're trying to reduce it.
Yeah, I feel like Florida is such a long like stretch of land. It's like there's a lot of places to put landfills, right? Unfortunately. And it's like until we run out of space, like, or there has to be, as I was saying, some financial pressure to do something differently. We're just going to keep making the same mistakes, I think. But yeah, on the flip side, it's like you are looking to places that are already doing it the right way. Getting kind of ahead of the curve and knowing that these companies are going to be facing these pressures to be more sustainable and less wasteful. And we definitely have that focus in Audubon Park as well, that like sustainability. So I would imagine you find a good amount of customers that really do gravitate towards that here at the market.
We probably have the most consistent refill customers here in Audubon Park.
We definitely do.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, and we're one of those customers as well. We'll never go back to store-bought hand soaps, and it's only a matter of time before we convert all of our things. It's like we just have to use what we have, and then we're making the switch.
Yeah, we're still making switches. It was like it's like all the stuff that we had from before. It's the same. You got to use it all. Zero waste. You got to use it before you buy more. So hell, you could even use the containers that you used that you used to store your laundry liquid and just refill with ours.
Is that right?
You can reuse that.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
you can
good to
use your
know.
own bottles, and you just have to be okay with us putting a label on it, and then you can start refilling with us.
See that? That's perfect. People don't even have to give up their old dispensers that they might have gotten used to. They can just refill those, right?
Yeah.
Are there products kind of on the horizon that you're looking to expand and carry in the future?
Yeah. Conditioners, lotions, and sunblocks are key things that we want to get into, and we know a lot of people look for that. But we haven't been able to refill those because of the licensing.
So
but
once you get that law overturned, it's you're positioned for those other products.
Yeah, either that or we'll look into some like bar versions or prepackaged versions where we swap it with the manufacturer, and that way they can refill it and they take because they have the license, and then
interesting.
Yeah, because there's programs like that exist right now.
Yeah.
As well.
So it's really just the act of refilling a bottle that you need that license for those certain products.
Yeah, it's the opening of a manufacturer container and then dispensing it into a different container.
Wow.
Yeah, insurances see it as also tampering with the product as well, so that's. Insurance is usually higher for refill shops.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
And it's weird, like, most laws are created because something went wrong at some point, right? And then they're just like, all right, we're not going to have to deal with this again because we're passing this law. But at some point, it's like you have to revisit those things and be like, okay, this is preventing a viable small business from carrying the products that they want to carry and delivering them to a market that really wants them.
Mm-hmm.
And you just, you have to make some changes, I think.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. Florida's laws used to be even more restrictive. Every single cosmetic product needed to be registered in a database with the state, but that got repealed at least a decade or two ago. So,
Wow.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. What were they doing with that information too, right? It's
I'm
like,
not really sure. I mean, I guess it's a safety thing, but again, there are hand soaps that qualify as cosmetics, and then there are hand soaps that are exempt because they're a true soap. You can't tell the difference.
interesting.
Yeah. So right now we only sell true soaps. We want to be able to, sell less expensive alternatives, which are the non-true soaps. But they still both work the same. So it's just based off of how they are created.
Interesting. So that's like certain ingredients are left out of one as opposed to the other. Which kind of ingredients are those for the change?
So, for example, a true soap is you have a fatty acid and then like a strong base, like a lye, right, to make the soap. Whereas a cosmetic soap would be some sort of synthetic cleaning agent. It could still be plant-based, mineral-based, but it's just that it's just not the way we've been doing it for 2,000 years or
Yeah.
It's not the traditional way to make it. It's more processing to it. So
So
it's not considered the true soap.
There is a advantage though, like certain people with sensitive skin can't use the true soaps. Actually, it can be a little harsh for them. It really depends on each person, though.
Yeah, so
synthetic ones can be more moisturizing. Can be made to be more moisturizing.
Right.
Okay.
So like people with eczema who have really dry skin,
Yeah.
scaly skin, they need something more than just a soap to strip away the dirt. They need something that moisturizes, and that would be more of a synthetic soap.
So that'll be one of the next steps, is to be able to carry both of those types of soaps. That's it's amazing, the hurdles, it's like you do all these steps to get the business in motion, and then it's like when are these other things going to come together? So has there been any movement on it that you've seen as far as like laws go, or any like lobbying that you are getting involved with that?
Yeah, we've been working with Anna
Escamani,
Yeah,
yes.
Escamani. She's been working with her staff. There's a draft to just strike that requirement totally from the law. So we're going to talk to some other people, see if others will support that. If not, then maybe work with her again to try to at least get some relief for, refill shops that are not changing the formula at all. We're just putting it from one container to another and properly labeling it. But we're hopeful we can get it done this next legislative session. That starts in March, I believe.
That would be amazing. Yeah, she is incredible, and if anybody can get it done, it's Anna.
Yeah.
For sure.
She's amazing.
So next steps, like in the future, you're looking to maybe have a brick and mortar, perhaps?
Yeah, so it's pretty hot in the summer months with the vehicle. So our goal is to have a brick and mortar open by the beginning of summertime, and that way we can just have our regular Monday market at Audubon and maybe a few evening markets, and then have the store open for the other times because it's really hot out there during the daytime. But if you need refills, you can swing by our shop.
Yeah, and I think one of the hurdles we come across to people adopting the refill model is accessibility. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why with the van, we try to meet people where they're already shopping.
Yes.
But then sometimes people need something right away. So we also want to have locations that are open more often for longer hours for those use cases. So I think doing both is what we eventually want to go toward.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so your brick and mortar, you said, will be attached to your warehouse. And where is that?
It's in the packing district area.
Oh, right.
By the packing district lighted sign where the juice stand is.
Yeah, so a little behind that.
Yeah, it's a little bit behind that.
Okay.
Right by the railroad crossing.
It's pretty easy to find then. There's some landmarks for people to...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a 7-Eleven. So turn left on 7-Eleven.
You can't miss it.
You can't miss it.
It'll be on our website when we're ready.
Excellent. So you're thinking summer of 2023 that you will have that up and going.
That's our hope.
Possibly.
Yeah, that's our hope.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hybrid model I think is so perfect because sometimes we're not on top of it and we forget to bring our soap bottles. So if there's like a second spot, and then the College Park location, basically there are some things that you can get there currently, right?
Right.
And what is offered there again?
All our best sellers. So, we still got hand soap, laundry detergent.
Yeah, but only single
shampoo.
scents of the certain like Forest Sunrise laundry liquid and selection of our best sellers.
Okay.
But then at our storefront, it'll have all our products.
Mm-hmm.
It's all on our website.
Yeah, that's great to know. It's good to just put all the information out there and people can find you and they know where to go. Excellent. Very easy. Right by the 7-Eleven.
Gonna start charging 7-Eleven.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. Because they need all the help they can get, with sending traffic their way. Yeah, they'll appreciate that. So we were just chatting, talking about habits of friends and family, and how just kind of planting the seed, and they sort of, since you're leading by example, they kind of see that maybe they can do a little better. Tell me about that a little bit.
Right. So like I see the behavior change in my family and my friends. They're definitely more eco-conscious now, practicing a little more eco-minimalism. I have a friend who always has to drink with a straw. So instead of grabbing plastic straws, she now carries her metal straws and her forks and knives in her purse.
Oh.
So it's just really cool seeing that effect on people and setting an example.
Yeah, they want to make you proud, right? They're
or no, they're more like, oh no, Jenny's going to criticize me for doing this.
that works too. That pressure it's a healthy pressure too, right? Because we all want to celebrate doing better. Like no matter what it is in life, we want to keep doing better, right?
And it's like when we hang out at a restaurant, then they see it's plastic cups getting, used. They would ask if there's a paper cup they can use, or a reusable cup instead of taking the plastic cup. It's just it's really cute. I like it. I like seeing that.
Yeah, it's that quote. It doesn't take just a dozen of us doing it perfectly. It's a million of us doing what we can.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a 100% thing, but.
Right.
If we're all trying a little bit more, we can all make a difference together, right?
Yeah, we can all make a bigger difference together, for sure.
Yeah. And so the lesson also is apply some pressure to your friends. So if you see them doing that single-use plastic thing and there's another option,
Yes.
you can say, hey, have you thought about doing this? I mean, some beverages taste better when you drink it out of a glass. Mm-hmm. So
Coke, for example. Tastes better out of a glass.
I feel like iced coffee does too. And like at Stardust, if you're not getting it to go, if you're hanging out, you can do a mug of coffee. Mm-hmm. And I think that we don't always think about that, but we should start thinking about that more, right?
Exactly. And then, the interesting thing is getting a hot beverage in your plastic cup. Mm-hmm. You also have to think about what's the plastic leaching into your beverage.
I try to never think about that.
Because microplastics do exist.
They do.
Yeah, and they tie into the wish cycling. So, as much as we would love to, use those plastic, it's leaching at some point.
Yeah.
Whether it's now or later.
Yeah.
Either in the ocean or in your body. So.
And neither is good. Those are both terrible options.
Right.
I don't know why we keep doing it,
It's easy, it's cheap, it's convenient.
Yeah.
When you're outside, you don't have to worry about it bringing it inside, washing it, just toss it out in the trash can. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a cultural thing, right? It's just we're used to seeing it. It's like when you're in an office environment and you see everybody with their plastic water bottles and then they just dump it in the trash when they're done with it. And you're like, well, I don't know that would go anywhere else but the trash anyways.
Right.
But also, you could have a glass bottle and reuse it, or, just any kind of bottle that you reuse.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
The plastic might save you 5 minutes, but it's sitting there for another 450 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it only takes 7 minutes to make a bottle, but 450 years for it to decompose.
Yeah, that's a serious thing, isn't it?
Yeah, very serious, considering that's just one bottle that you enjoyed for 5 minutes to drink
Wow.
that water.
Wow. These are things that everybody needs to be reminded of, I think, and there's so little of that. So I'm glad that we're doing that here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Getting the word out.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both so much for being here. I'm so excited for what you're doing and for the future and for the dumb Florida law to be overturned.
Yeah,
Here's
that'd be
hoping.
great. Hopeful.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Before we wrap up, is there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about?
We love being at the Audubon Community Market and being part of this great neighborhood.
Definitely. Well, we're so grateful, and you're a perfect fit here. And
Thank you.
yeah, keep doing the good work that you're doing, please.
Same to the members of Audubon Park. Keep refilling.
Yes, indeed. Keep those refills. So what is the website that people go to find your products?
Just go to goodfills.co and that'll take you to our website. And you can access the locations and products on the website, or you could follow us on Instagram at goodfillsco, and you can access everything from there as well.
All right, well, see you soon.
Thank you.
Hello, APGD. A neighborhood podcast is brought to you in part by Stardust Video and Coffee, Audubon Park's beloved neighborhood cafe, bakery, bar, and meeting place, located at 1842 East Winter Park Road. We're also sponsored by Red Light Brew Pub. Founded in 2005, Red Light is widely known as the source for world-class imports and microbrews, a wide selection of natural wines, plus award-winning beers brewed in-house. A full kitchen is in the works with an amazing menu by Chef Jess Tantalo. Located at 2810 Corinne Drive, please check out Red Light for all things beer and wine and soon food. Our theme song is by Christopher Pierce, and special thanks to Trey Hester for all of his help in making this podcast a reality. We do hope you enjoyed this episode. If so, please click subscribe and leave a review if you'd like. We'll see you next time.